Okay. And has this grass been untouched for the whole rainy season?
No. So this grass has 30 days.
Wow.
And I'm almost too late.
30 days and it's ready, huh?
Yeah. In the rainy season, that's how it goes.
Sure, sure. And is this mostly like Mombaso grass?
This is actually a variety of Mombasa called Paradao, or Super Mombasa they call it.
Yeah.
But it also has a mixture of Victoria,
Yeah.
Toledo.
Man, they're so beautiful. It's great, the grass coming up.
Sounds nice how they're eating, right?
Oh, yeah. And it's so tall. Man, so that's 30 days, but then you're going to leave other grass for not touch the whole rainy season.
Yeah.
What doesn't it get woody or?
Yeah. It does. But that woody fibrous food is what they're going to eat in the dry season.
Yeah. Okay.
When there's nothing. You understand?
So it's not preferable to them, but they'll eat it.
They'll have to.
Yeah.
You know? And then that's me not having to buy hay.
Yeah.
Or going and cut stuff. Of course, you need to give them protein supplements so they can digest it.
Right.
So wherever I get at 42 days, I'm going to come right back up here.
Okay.
And that's all I'm going to graze for this. What does that do? That guarantees that I'm always giving them the best quality grass.
Yeah.
In the best optimal time. If I try, which I did in the first year, I tried to eat the whole property in the rainy season with 16 cows.
Yeah.
And most of the times what would happen is by the time I came back, it was already woody.
Yeah.
And not in good conditions. They wouldn't eat all of it. They wouldn't graze like how they're grazing now.
Right.
You know? So my strategy now is just graze hard the areas that I can graze, and next year just rotate that.
Yeah.
You know, then next year this is gonna rest.
Right.
And then so that's where the real regenerative starts to happen when you don't. This is not gonna get regenerated, right? We're gonna get regenerated down there where we're not touching anything.
Okay. I would have thought that this, you know, we're stomping it, some of the grass into there, and then it's like dropping the manure, and then, you know, also pruning it back and causing those roots to grow deeper, maybe.
Yeah,
and...
exactly. But no other thing would grow because they're going through it. So like where you don't leave it, like if I had, remember we were feeding jackfruit and all that stuff?
Right.
So seeds are spread from jackfruit here.
Yeah.
But they won't grow because they're grazing through.
Yeah.
But the areas that we're not going to graze, it's going to allow it to just, you know.
That's super cool.
That's how the trees grows and stuff like that too. So every year my plan now, that's my new strategy for this year. Again, I'm learning on the way. You know?
And is it like something like half and half, you're leaving fallow and you're using the rest?
Well, I don't know how much exactly yet. It just depends on, I want to see where I'm going to get at 42 days.
Right.
I'm thinking 42 days is going to be right at the edge down there.
Yeah.
Because it took me from, you know, right up here. This is 10 days grazing.
Yeah.
And this is, you know, 16 months out.
Yeah.
So everybody was like, hey, you got put in more cows. No, I'm not going to put more cows because then I'm going to eat up all the food that I need to have for the dry season.
Right.
And that's where everybody starts to struggle.
Right.
You know, so I'd rather stockpile and then have them graze it later on.
So what would this look like, you know, if you leave this for till the dry season? Would it get much taller? Or?
So it's going to get as high as that tree that you see there.
Really?
Yeah, about 3 meters, 4 meters almost sometimes. But what I've learned from last year, I only stockpiled part of the property last year, is that the Mombasa will fall over. Mm-hmm. And when it falls over, it dies, and then right from the root area, fresh one comes up.
Okay.
So.
And they know right where this wire is, huh?
Yeah.
I would imagine it's kind of hard to see with the grass so tall.
They know. That's why some people don't put a division, a thing in the middle. Yeah. I always put it so they can see it. So.
Oh, okay. And it's hot right now?
No.
Okay.
As long as I'm here. I only turn it on when I'm not here.
Right. Man, the cow seemed friendlier this time coming by. The one want to let me pet her. maybe they're happier. They get more food now.
Yeah, they're eating much better. I remember during the last part of the dry season, this lane, all from here to there, that was like at noon. I had to change them to another one.
Yeah.
And now they're gonna eat this for today.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much it is. I know the width is about 10 meters. She's testing it right now.
So, well, we got 3 hours more left today, right? And is this the last paddock for him today?
No, I'm giving them another one.
You're gonna give him another one, man. You're moving him so many times.
Yeah, I'll probably give him another one for the night.
So how many times a day are you moving him now?
It's 3 or 4. Just depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, like today, this would be the third one. And like if I'm in a rush or something, then I would just make this a little bit bigger and say have that for the night.
Yeah.
Especially when it's raining a lot, I move them a lot quicker too, because they start to, it's called putting. They start to make mud, and that's not good.
Right.
So you're trying to, like if you watch the weather and you see how much inches of water you're to expect, then you say, well, I'm not gonna pressure them. I wouldn't put them in this little space.
Yeah.
I'd probably give them more.
Okay.
Just so that they have more to move around than
Yeah.
just beat up one area.
Yeah, less impact on the ground there.
Yeah.
And also, then you don't have to come move them in the middle of the rain, maybe, huh?
Yeah, that too. But sometimes I do. I mean, sometimes like if you go to bed or you go thinking when you leave them, gosh, I hope I give them enough. Gosh, I hope this,
Yeah.
that type of thing. And you just watch it. Like over there, you can see there's not much grass between the coyol and there, so I already know that that's going to be a quick change. I can't leave them the same amount of time.
Yeah.
So from 11 until 3, that's 12, 1, 2, almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I know, and I understand how they graze, so I know that period of time they're just chewing their cud. So there's no point me giving them a change. And that's new, I'm just doing that new. There's no point giving them a change when they're not ready to eat.
Yeah.
So I let them rest, and then they come in like this. See, they're not even trying to come see what we're doing. They're focusing on eating.
So they want to chew the cud for how long then? Like that?
They should chew their cud 4 times a day.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's at least 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
So that's where because they eat, full their rooming, and their real digestion happens when they're chewing their cud.
Okay.
And so they need to have that break, It's not.
And so what's the advantage to moving them three times a day over somebody who's moving them once a day?
Well, to me, the advantage is that you're offering them, instead of giving them a whole paddock that they can go and select around, you're actually offering them food 4 times a day. Kind of like what they would do. I learned from my experience from keeping them in the stable, that I would, in the morning, since I had my workers come, we would cut all the food at once for the day, and I would give them all the food at once for the day. And I would always come back, and the food will still be there.
Yeah.
They're not eating it. And I was like, well, what's going on? And then I asked my mentor, and I was like, about cow behavior and grazing. And he was like, well, how many times a day do you eat?
Right.
Do you eat all your food in one day? Do they serve your plate all at once for the day?
Yep.
No, you're probably going to put it away and come back later. And so I took that principle and said, hey, what if I did that 4 times a day, what would be the difference? And the difference is that they eat more, they focus on eating their little paddock and try and eat as much as they can.
Yeah.
Versus if I can leave them a whole day. Like, I've done that on Sundays. And the grazing efficiency is, I would say, less. Not bad, it's not bad, but it's just less. A lot of it has to do with me wanting to be here. Like, I enjoy just listening to that.
Yeah, yeah.
There's some pleasure into it too, so.
Yeah, it's beautiful down here. And so they really kind of go after everything rather than leaving some of it that they don't like. And
I mean, so if you come down this side, ideally this is how I want them to eat, right?
Yeah.
This is how I want, but there are certain plants that are a little more stemmier than the
Yeah.
ones that have like Mombasa and stuff like that. That they won't go more than that.
Right.
And I don't advocate for you to pressure them to go more than that either, because that can take some time for them to actually want to go down.
Right.
I would have to probably leave them a day and a half before they start to eat that. And then at that time, you're using body condition.
Right.
Now, in the dry season, I probably will pressure them more
Yeah.
than in the rainy season, because now a day goes by, that grass is growing like this,
Yeah.
you know? And I want to make sure I can get the best nutrition out of the grass. Something that's very cool that I don't know if you're noticing, you probably noticed it already since you walked in here. There are patches of green,
Yeah.
dark green.
Sure. Yeah, I do see that. Is that manure?
Yeah, that's they call those fertility patches.
Yeah.
Now, something interesting that I didn't notice until this year was they would go in there and not eat that.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, they won't touch it.
Really?
And I was like, am I grazing wrong? Or what's going on here, you know? And it's from the manure from last time. They just know that, oh, I pooped on that.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't eat it,
Yeah.
you know? So it's just things like that happen. You're like, damn, it looks so good. It looks so fresh.
Right.
Why wouldn't you eat that?
Right.
So I still come behind and chop down whatever is left.
Oh, do you?
I do. I can't get out of that habit. I like it. I like how the grass comes back level.
Are you doing that with a weed whacker or a
No,
machete?
this is a machete.
Just a machete, yeah.
It's hard to do the weed whacker here when the rocks.
So
are
many
like
rocks,
that.
huh?
Yeah, so.
They
And
did
the
a.
guys prefer the machete.
Were you the one that stacked those rocks in a line there?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did. We made some swales, some contours.
And was that the idea to kind of like catch the topsoil in
Yeah,
the rain?
exactly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that again.
No, why not?
No. So one, it's a big input.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of labor. And when I started researching about regenerative grazing, I found something that made me think about it was what keeps soil from eroding?
Yeah.
Roots.
Right.
So if your land is bare and there's nothing on top, no plants growing, live plants growing, your soil is going to erode,
Right.
right? So then I said, well, I'd rather focus on putting down grass or stuff that's going to create more root system and keep the ground together,
Right.
than trying to build infrastructures that are going to cost me a lot of money,
Right.
you know, and the rocks are not food.
Right.
So I wouldn't do that again. I already did it, but and if I do it again, I probably won't use rocks. I'd probably use plants,
Yeah.
you know, like make a row of trees or something that can give me shade
Sure.
and food, you know,
Right.
like a row of moringa or something like that.
Or would vetiver grass work like that?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would. I've thought about incorporating it. I looked up about animals eating vetiver grass,
Yeah.
and I think in India they do eat them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen these guys eat it. I haven't brought any for them, but I think that might be.
You know,
something.
Adam's real big on vetiver, and his cows, they'll eat it.
They'll eat it. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
good. That's good. Any cow will eat it then.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
That's cool. So yeah,
And I bet they do very good in the dry season too, with that deep root system.
yeah, they do. They do. You know, I wanted to ask, so if this was the dry season, would they have kind of gone after this
Yes,
a lot more, huh?
a lot more.
Yeah. And so they're less picky in the dry season when they get hungry, huh?
Yeah, they're less picky. Oh,
Yeah.
and also there's less food, so it's like this
Yeah.
is what's available.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people would think that this is overgrazing, but this is not overgrazing. Overgrazing is when you graze a plant when it's not ready, when its root system is not fully developed.
Right.
So they could graze this to the ground, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But the thing is if I graze it again, the plant has to be back to its full potential.
Right.
If I don't do it, if I come like 5 days after, there's going to be grass growing. Let's say that over there, let's say that has 3 days.
Yeah.
See all those little leaves coming out?
Oh,
If
I
I
see.
put the cows in there again,
Yeah.
that would be overgrazing because the plant's not ready to be
Sure.
eaten.
It's not at maturity.
So I tell people, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to consume all the grass in a period of time, right? Like,
Man, so I love this. This ticks all the boxes, right? We got we're building soil, creating happy cows, good good food for everybody. And like you said, you're kind of cultivating the diversity by letting the good trees kind of come up and the plants like.
Something that I wouldn't do or try and do differently is because this kind of feels like a monoculture to me.
Okay.
Right? And the reason we planted these grass or spread this seed was because the native grass, it sucks in the dry season.
Okay.
It goes into hibernation, it disappears, and this really resists. I mean, last time you were here, you saw what we were down there was still some food.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, well, because this only has 2 different types of grasses. So then this year I planted like maybe 8 kilograms, and I mixed everything. Like I got, of course, I had tall grasses and small grasses. That's kind of like the mixture that you wanted to do.
Right.
So that's something that I'm planning on.
The small grasses, they can make it. They're not shaded out by the tall grasses.
They can be. So again, the portion or the ratio of how much of each one. So then I would do, if I'm going to spread 4 kilos, I would do 3 of the small one, and then only 1 of the Mombasa, for example.
Right.
And something that's very curious about it is you see them eating this, and this is great, they love it, right? But what I notice is they consume a lot more minerals in the salt now that they're eating this grass like this. So what is that telling me? That it's nutrient deficient because it's not biodiverse. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know? So it's interesting because I remember one of our mentors or courses that we took, they talked about doing a mineral buffet. So he would have out phosphorus, selenium, calcium, sodium, all the different types of minerals in like different little bends. Mm-hmm. And depending on which pasture they're in, the animals will consume more of one versus the other. So when I brought the salt down, and we usually only bring a pan, right? Man, they licked that out at once. I mean, in 20 minutes it was empty, and I was like, gosh, I didn't know we were that bad. But the reason why is because this is predominantly Mombasa and grass. So having a biodiverse pasture is way better for your pocket and for them because they're getting all that diverse nutrient. So it looks good, and I'm telling you the truth, right? I'm not making it up. I'm living it, So this is, everybody goes, wow, it's nice. Look how beautiful it is. I was like, yes, but it's deficient. It's not giving them everything they need.
So you would plant a diversity of grass, or would you? I
would do a diversity of the grass. Yeah, for sure. But it's just difficult because you're trying to balance out. Okay, how can I survive the dry season? So I like the native grass. I remember telling Jonathan, get native grass, man, like gamba, or they're not native either. Gamba, haragua. They do pretty good in the dry season too. So I mixed gamba and with this mixture here, but it only some areas in the bottom there you see certain plants of gamba. So they're not seeds that are well prepared,
Right.
So it's definitely, it looks pretty, but you're lacking. It's they're lacking nutrition. I wonder if that's something like kind of like vegetarians, or vegan, and that could be controversial, but. It's like if you're only eating one type of thing, it's healthy for you and whatever, but to a certain extent, it has its limits, right? You're not getting the complete package. And for me, that's what I see here. So I have to be very on top of the minerals. And there are times that they don't want it. And that tells me that pasture is, the one that we walked up through, that's the most diverse pasture that I have.
And they don't want as much salt up there?
No.
Wow.
And it has all these little green things growing and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Versus coming down here where it's like almost monoculture. So all those things, it's interesting, I don't know if that's a mistake or is it part of the learning experience,
Yeah, you gotta learn. Is that your mentor? Is that what they recommended? Is kind of planting more diversity, or?
Well, they're big on native.
Okay.
don't they? I remember the course when I took it. It was just like, before you take this course, it was an online course, and it said before you take this course, don't go before you do anything. Take this course first, and don't buy any seeds. That's the first thing he said. Yeah, I didn't listen. He also said get the biggest energizer possible.
Yeah.
For your farm. I didn't listen either.
Uh-huh.
And he was telling me these are the mistakes that I made, and this is why I'm sharing them.
Right.
You know, and because I didn't in the dry season, they were getting out the fence because my electric fence wasn't good enough. You know.
Wow. And you were having more trouble with the electric fence in the dry season than you are now? Is
Yeah.
that right?
Right now they don't play around with that right now. They know that's hot.
Yeah. But in the dry season they were hungry, so they were willing to test it.
Yeah, they test it more, and you know, and it doesn't kick as hard in the dry season.
Man, I do love this one you're telling me about, this Brendel one here, who's a little different
hippopotamus.
looking. Yeah, little porker, huh?
Another thing too, a lot of people like big cows.
Yeah.
I think it's better if you had small cows.
Yeah.
One, they're more efficient. They're easier to foal. Bigger cows are also more. Oh, the smaller cows are more. How do you say when you get sexually active quicker? Precocious. The bigger cows require more food, more space.
Yeah.
They have bigger requires, and they're slower to reproduce.
They're harder to handle too as a person, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, that could be true too. So I love him.
Yeah.
This one here, I love him. He's a nice little bull.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be big.
Yeah.
He's already bigger than. He's young, way younger. This one's a year now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a year this month. And this guy is going to be 7 months old.
Wow.
And he's way past it.
Oh, wow. That was a big difference.
I tried to get rid of or sell this calf. This red one that's in front of us.
Yeah.
He's more of a milking prototype
Yeah.
body, and he does have milking genetics. But I don't know. I'm also, it's kind of like when I'm adopting an animal, I want to make sure they get a good home.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's actually very hard.
Right.
So I think he's going to become a steer. So yeah, they both are, and I'm going to stick with the little brindle one. He's shorter.
No horns.
No horns. Very good. No horns. And I'm almost thinking he could be about the same weight as the bigger ones.
Yeah. Just because he's so fat, huh?
Yeah.
That's funny. And what other advantages have you found for rotational grazing over the way a lot of people are doing it?
Well, the most important thing is the soil.
Yeah.
I feel like we get more, better water retention.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen runoff in a long, long time.
Right.
And I think that's my workers, we had the question the other day. I was like, do you think, because we had green grass the whole year.
Yeah.
My question to them was, do you think we had green grass because the roots of our grass is deep, or is it because of water retention? What do you think? You know, and they think it could be both, a little bit of both.
Right.
You know, so all this mulch that comes down, you know, I think is.
So everything here that's laying down, this is stuff you cut with a machete just to get it all down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's mostly stem.
Yeah.
You know, mostly stem. So it's covering the soil for sure. We were preparing for this tree to fall down. We planted a sable.
Yeah. Oh, is that some yucca I see?
Huh?
Do I see some yucca there?
No, that's the sable.
Oh, that's the sable. Okay.
Yeah, we planted a sable there.
Those grow fast, huh?
They do?
Do they?
I think so. Yeah.
Is that the one that's like got thorns on it?
Yeah,
Gets super big?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that, it's got thorns on it because it grows so fast that its bark will be green and that the animals will want to come and eat the bark.
No.
Yeah.
No defense.
Well, anyways, thanks for showing me all this today, and love what you're doing, Faran.
Yeah, man. Anytime. I'm glad that you love sharing this, and I hope I can be an example. I hope I can inspire others to try it at least. I think you have to try it. It's a learning curve for sure. It does open up your mind to observation, like watch
Yeah.
what's going on around. Um, so
That's beautiful.
hopefully, let's see what I can learn this year.
That's beautiful. What's that red and black one in the corner?
That's just normal Creole cow.
That's a Creole cow.
She
Beautiful.
is the best cow that we have.
Yeah, why is that?
She got pregnant when she was 11 months old. Yeah.
Okay.
She's given us a calf every year. We're expecting her to give a calf at the end of this month.
Nice.
Next month, basically. She's the mother of that little bull.
Of the brindle, yeah?
Yeah. So we're very happy with her. She's a special cow too. She's the one that we started with in the chicken coop with a broken leg.
Yeah.
And then we got Latte over here. So Latte is beautiful and everything, but reproductively not efficient. She's a big cow. But there's a lot of sentimental value to her also. I mean, she's a founder.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get her bred this year.
Mm.
I'm not ready to get into that, that big production. If she doesn't get pregnant, call. I think that's important to do. But also she has another function that's not only reproduction, which is eat, stomp, and shit, pee. All that's good for the soil too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if our focus is also to improve the soil, then she's helping us do that. So,
Right.
I think we're gonna keep a closed herd, meaning that we're not gonna purchase any more animals. We're not gonna put in any more animals, and just grow the herd from what we have.
Yeah.
We're up to 9 now.
We're up to 9. And how much more do you think that this land can take
Every
care
year
of?
it changes.
Yeah.
So the first year, now if you ask me that question in the dry season, it's going to be a different answer. If you ask me the question in the rainy season,
Right.
I can tell you I can take 60 to 100 animals right now
Yeah. Wow.
without thinking about dry season. Like if
Right,
it was
right,
like
right,
that, I can easily do that and come back. In the dry season, it took me to go around the whole property almost at May, so almost 6 months, because I started grazing dry season plan in December, so it took me about 6 months to go around the property.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good number, that I'm not too stressed about the food and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I would say my limit or my goal or my wish or my dream is to have 25 cows.
Okay.
25 cows. With 25 cows, without milking them, that's still not profitable.
No?
No.
Why is
I
that?
would need, with our current labor that we have,
Yeah.
so that's our biggest expense.
Yeah.
So we only have 3 workers,
Yeah.
right? So that's almost, we pay maybe $600 a month in labor.
Uh-huh.
So you can sell, if I wanted to sell this bull, they'll probably give me max $800 or $700.
Uh-huh.
And they'll probably cry about that price.
Yeah.
So that's what I would probably ask.
Right.
A little bit more. That's what I was asking for the little milking bull.
Mhm.
850. So if I had 25 cows, selling them, let's say $800. You do the math. Just to cover, and I'm not including minerals, I'm not including replacing electrical, I'm just talking about labor. So if we do 600 times 12, that's 7,200, right?
Mhm.
So if I had 25 calves, let's say, and let's say I'm gonna have to take out those 25 calves, I need to have replacement heifers.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna replace 10%. So that leaves me, let's say, with 22, or let's say 22 calves at 800. That's 17,600, right?
Mhm.
And then labor is 7,000. How much did I say?
You said 7,200.
Yeah. Right. That's 10,400.
Yeah.
Then I have to take out rent,
Yeah.
right? And rent is 600 a month
Yeah.
for the manzanas. So that's another how much?
That's another 7,200, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's 3,200.
Mhm.
Now I need to take out salt, mineral salt. Let's say I spend maybe $240 a year on minerals. That's 2,960.
Yeah.
Right. And vaccines, artificial insemination.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So you see what I mean? So you might make, I don't know, $400.
Yeah.
You know, if you do it right. It looks like a lot of money, you know, cash flow, but if you're doing it right, you're noticing that you're not making much money. And that's without milk.
Right.
And if I milk them, that probably could do something, but I don't know. I feel like I would run into more problems milking, mastitis. Calves are not developing how they should, you know. But I've seen here that it doesn't matter if the calf is skinny or fat, the price is basically almost the same. It's kind of like the plantains. The person who nurtures or fertilizes their plantains has almost the same price as the person who didn't do anything to their plantains.
Right.
You know, even the pigs, the people who grew them in their backyard.
Yeah.
You know, about the same thing.
Hey, there's your favorite bull.
That's the one we wanted to sell.
Oh, that's one we saw.
You're right. He's the one that had school.
Now, what'd you have to do for that?
Catch him, clean it, spray that stuff in there.
Yeah.
Did that twice. He's handsome. I like him. He's cute.